Some years there are updates that completely suspend an entire category. Others you get something like the $399 plus Apple Watch Series 9 and $799 Ultra 2 steady improvements that technically add up to the best Apple Watches we have ever seen. Just not by a whole lot, and not if you have already got a recent Apple Watch model. It makes sense that 2023's updates are quite compared to last year when Apple effectively kicked down the door with not one, not two, but three new smartwatches. This year, the Series 9 and Ultra 2 are nearly identical in design to their predecessors, save new colors, strap options, and carbon-neutral packaging. Instead, the big updates this year are the S9 SiP, the addition of a second-generation ultra-wideband chip, and watchOS 10. The former promises a 30% faster GPU and a 4-core neural engine with twice the performance of the Series 8. That in turn enables onboard Siri processing, greater power efficiency, and the handy double-tap gesture. The upgraded UWB chip enables precision finding, much like AirTags. Meanwhile, watchOS 10 reintroduces widgets to Apple's smartwatch landscape. After a few months with watchOS 10 and about a week with the Series 9 and Ultra 2, I genuinely like the new updates, but whether the latest Apple Watches are the best options for iOS users isn't the point anymore. The real questions are whether the new updates are worth the cost to upgrade, and if you are going to buy a new Apple Watch, which one makes the most sense for you. The Aluminum Series 9 comes in a new pink color, and as far as design goes, that's all that's visibly new. Otherwise, you are looking at the same design and 41mm by 45mm sizes as the Series 8 and the Series 7 before that. Pink is easily the best new color Apple's introduced for the watch in years. First, it's actually pink, unlike the green Series 7, which only looked green if the light hit just right. Second, this is the year of our queen and savior Barbie. Technically, it's more millennium pink than Barbie pink, but that's probably a good thing. Normally, I catch about how Apple shies away from saturated color, but the extra subtlety here makes for a more versatile watch. Depending on the strap, you can either emphasize or de-emphasize the pinkness for whatever the situation calls for. The Ultra 2 is even harder to differentiate from the Ultra. When I got my hands on at Apple Park, a representative advised I stow my Ultra in my bag lest I accidentally leave it behind. Even the back crystal on the Ultra 2 just reads Ultra, unlike the series watches, which always specify which series they are. This entire week, I have had really on very minimal signs of wear and tear on my original Ultra to tell these two watches apart. Even less visible is the fact that Apple is using more recycled materials in both the Series 9 and Ultra 2. The Sport Loop, for example, is made of 82% recycled yarn, up from 0%. The Aluminum Series 9 is made from 100% recycled aluminum, while the Ultra 2 is made from 95% recycled titanium. The speckled flex in silicone Nike straps you will see throughout this review are also recycled. Apple also sent me its fine woven strap, which is made of 68% post-consumer recycled material and is meant to act as a leather alternative because Apple doesn't do leather anymore. Fine woven is fine, it's kinda like suede, soft and little fuzzy. If you scrape it with a nail, it shows the scratch like suede would. It's hard to say whether it will develop a patina, as I simply haven't had it long enough, but I wouldn't recommend working out on it. I thought the strap was fetching on my stainless steel 45mm review unit, but the texture was a lot more polarizing among my co-workers. Most said they weren't fans but couldn't attribute why. If you are debating getting one, I would swing by an Apple store first to get a feel for it first. Iterative updates aren't bad, they are just not flashy, but that's the biggest problem facing the Series 9 and Ultra 2. These are the best smartwatches Apple's ever made, but while the updates do make the overall experience better, it's like paying another dollar to add an extra topping to your pizza. For some people, that makes the pizza. For others, it's nice but really not necessary, and of course, the smartwatches cost hundreds of dollars. If you have a Series 7 or later, you don't really need to update. For owners with a Series 5 or earlier, it might be worth it since you will get a bigger screen, several new sensors, and a processing bump. Series 6 owners are the ones I see being most on the fence, and to those folks, I mostly encourage upgrades if your battery life isn't cutting it anymore. For folks with an Ultra, seriously cool your jets. You are getting the modular Ultra watch face with WatchOS 10 and 3000 nits versus 2000 nits doesn't make a huge difference. Otherwise, the biggest case I can make for an upgrade is if you must have double tap, either because you have got minor dexterity issue or think it will be the coolest thing since sliced bread. If you are on the fence, I suggest trying assistive touch out for an afternoon to see whether you like the idea of using gesture. That said, if you don't often find yourself tapping your Apple Watch with your nose, that probably isn't a feature you'd need right away. But speaking frankly, Apple did not make these watches for folks looking to upgrade. It made them for people who don't have an Apple Watch already, and it's still true that the majority of people buying Apple Watches each year are new to the platform. For those folks, these are the latest and greatest. Well, until next year.